Hey y'all, so I just wanted to talk about the Nolan Wells situation, which is so heartbreaking and extremely sad. So I'm gonna read the facts. What it says: Wells, an 18-year-old described by his parents as having a big heart, went out on a boat with friends who were white. This is on Google, by the way. On July 4th before going missing. Okay, and his body was found on July 6th. Okay, so he went out to celebrate with his buddies. I don't know why the lightning looks like that. To celebrate with his buddies for July 4th, and he never came back. So his friends came back and he never came back. And it's so unfortunate and it's so sad that he was the only one amongst his friends with a different skin color who went missing. Okay, so it definitely has to do with it definitely has to do with race. Okay, it has to do with race, because what do you mean your black friend is missing? Okay, three white friends, your black friend is missing, and he's nowhere to be found. Okay, and you both come back and everyone has a different story. Like all these three kids, the buddies or whatever, the buddies all have different stories about where he is, his whereabouts and stuff like that. And it is so unfortunate. Like it's so sad. And this is not the first situation. Okay, I think something like something similar to this happened before, where a black a black woman was having a sleepover with friends, with all white friends. She was the only person with the black skin color. So she also something ended up happening, which is, and to this day, keep in mind, let me tell you something, to this day none of those friends have said what happened. Okay, to this day none of those friends have said what happened to the black friend, to the black lady, not the black kid right now, but the black lady. None of those friends have said anything about what happened. So same thing happens to Nolan. Okay, he goes on a boat to celebrate 4th of July with his white friends, three white friends, and he just goes missing, and his body is found 2 days later or 3 days later, a day later. And none of those three friends are saying anything about what happened or where he is. And trust me, they know what happened. Well, prior to his body being found, they know what happened, and they definitely know where his body was. Okay, here's the thing. I'll tell you one thing that I have observed about white people or Caucasians. They will take a secret to their grave. Okay, they will take a secret to their grave. They keep those lips sealed. They don't confess. They don't say anything about what happened. So I don't know if this is something that maybe they discuss with their lawyers, and the lawyers, because I for sure the lawyers, if these kids have lawyers, these three white kids, if they have lawyers, their lawyers definitely know what happened, like the real truth, what happened. And it's just they keep those lips sealed. I'll tell you one thing about white people. They do the most dangerous, scariest, you name it, things. But the difference is that they keep their lips locked. They don't talk about things. They don't talk about those things. I don't know how they do it. Okay, they are very loyal to themselves, because if this was a situation involving another white person or someone similar, of a skin color similar to them, they would have confessed. Like they would have said something, it would have been news that this and this is what happened. But because this is a person of a different skin color, black person to be specific, they will keep those lips sealed. And I'll tell you this, I would mark my words, I'll be very, very shocked, extremely shocked, that one of those kids end up confessing, and they know what happened. They definitely know what happened. I'll be surprised if they end up confessing or saying something. They will not, because for them to go to an extent of leaving, they know, well, leaving their black friend behind, and then not saying anything. 2 days later, wait until the body was found, basically, and they still didn't say anything up until today. Today is what, July 10th? It happened like 6 days ago, or it doesn't matter. But for them still to not say anything, and they definitely know what happened, okay? Not say anything 6 days later, they are never gonna say anything. They will take that secret to their graves, okay? They will not ever confess anything. I don't know how white people do it, okay? I don't know how they do it, but they know how to keep things to themselves. They know how to keep secrets. They know if they do something, it goes to their graves. They don't kiss and tell. And it's so unfortunate because come on, like, unless this is so sad, like, it's so unfortunate. But I really hope the investigator Ben gets to the bottom of this, because I know those kids will not open their mouths. They will not say anything. They are not going to. It's either they were coached by their lawyers and their parents not to ever say anything, you know. But how do you live with yourself? Okay, how do you live with yourself? How do you go to bed at night, especially when, you know, someone died? It doesn't matter whether it was your fault, whether it was you. It doesn't matter. Like, how do you sleep and how do you live with yourself? How do you even look at yourself in the mirror, knowing very well what happened and not saying anything? Like, these kids, Nolan's mother, obviously, she needs closure. Okay, she needs closure. She needs to move on. Like, she needs to know what happened to her kid. Like, how do you sleep at night knowing you're responsible for that and not give a shit at all? Like, you don't want to come clean and confess and say what happened when you know obviously what happened. They definitely know what happened to that kid. They know, okay? But the lawyers and the parents, they make sure that they are not gonna open their mouth. Like, they're not ever gonna say anything. I don't know how white people do it. How do you guys do it? How do you keep secrets? Like, they know a lot of things and they bury a lot of shit, okay? And I'm just wondering, how do you not, well, they say loose lips sink ships. I'm telling you, they are not ever going to say anything. They'll never confess. So if, the investigator doesn't, it's so sad. Like, it's so unfortunate. I'll tell you one thing about white people. They are so loyal to anything they want to be loyal to. So if they decide that they are not going to say what happened, confess, give a story, they will never ever say anything about it or even talk about it. And it could be like, it could be an accident. It would have been an accident. Maybe he slipped and fell, Nolan. But then just say something, give the family closure. Say something, okay? I'm pretty sure those parents are like, if you open your damn mouth, it's gonna fall back on you. Like, this is a very, very sad situation. Like, if you are a friend, especially when white people, like in America, know what's going on, like with black people, and like how the situation is. If you are a black friend, like if you are a white friend, and you have a black friend, especially with what's going on in America, like most of the times, the hate towards black people, the treatment towards black people. Like if you are a white friend to a black friend, and you go somewhere like vacation, a party, like it doesn't matter where you go, but then I feel like it has to be your responsibility somehow to just make sure that your black friend makes it back home, okay? Because a lot of things, there's a lot of things happening these days. You have to like look out for your black friend, because like in a situation like that where he's the only black kid amongst his white friends that went missing, like where did he go? And then he's discovered like 2 days later, and both of those white kids are like white friends are like, oh no, he went with some girl, like, oh, he did this, he did that, like it's like, so he wasn't, it looks as if he wasn't any of these white kids' friends, like he wasn't their friend. So if he was not their friend, why was he like hanging out with them? Okay, which is obviously, this is questions you ask yourself, but we all know they were friends. Okay, they're basically friends because they were hanging out together, and Nolan felt very comfortable to like hang out with his 3 friends. It's so unfortunate, like it's so sad. I don't know how, I don't know how these kids will sleep at night, like knowing that someone is dead, and whether you're responsible for it or not, like what happened, but you're not saying anything. Like you are lawyered up. Like what does that mean? Which like the whole situation of these kids like getting lawyers after this incident somehow says that yes, we hanged out together, but we were not friends, which is it's so sad, because this Nolan kid felt comfortable, like these were his friends, like he trusted them, these were his friends, these were his buddies, he trusted them enough to go on this boat with them. Okay, I don't know who he was more close to, but he trusted all 3 of them. It's so unfortunate. Like I hope the family gets closure. Like as a parent, like this is so sad. Like honestly, it's so sad. I hope those kids come clean and say something, even if it's anonymous. Like they can mention anonymous. If I was amongst those white kids, I would definitely, I don't know, maybe, well, I'm black, I would say something. Like what if it was you? Okay, what if it was you? Like say something. Okay, if these white kids give an anonymous tip, like you don't have to show, you don't have to say something like publicly, or you don't have to say something to the cops, but just even something anonymous, like say something so that the family can get closure. Like if someone lost their life, like he's never coming back, like he's dead. Okay, so say something. It doesn't, write a letter, like an anonymous letter or something. Just say something. Don't I don't even want to say, this is so sad. Like what if this was your brother? Okay, what if this was your brother, your kid, your uncle, whoever? Like say something. Okay, don't feel the need sometimes to always listen to your parents. Sometimes parents are just, if I'm pretty sure these kids' parents are telling them not to say anything. Okay, and these lawyers are like, don't say anything, don't open your mouth. Like say something, write a letter. Then they're not gonna know who said it. So there's 3 of you, so write a letter, or give in an anonymous confession of what happened. Okay, they're not gonna know, don't be afraid, but free yourself. Okay, free your heart, free yourself, because this will follow. Like this is something that will follow you, absolutely. Like this is something that's gonna follow you. It will sit on your chest every single day. Okay, I'm pretty sure they are on what what do they call these meds? um, I don't know. They're probably taking anxiety medications right now, because that is a big secret to keep. Okay, that is a big responsibility. Well, white people are good with responsibility anyway, so that is something so big to keep. So if you know what happened, write a letter, give an anonymous tip about what happened. It's a story of you. They are not gonna know who said anything, but free yourself so you can sleep at night. Because what if this was you? What if this was you? Okay, and your parent or your mom and dad, your mother and father are like crying, begging the police or whoever to do something and, you know, find out what happened to you and get closure and stuff like that. So this is so